What's up, everybody? Adam and Axel from Cape Crawlers, and today we're going to transform our Axial SCX24 Jeep Gladiator into a monster truck. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Got a great video for you today. I got my little man here, the man of the hour. This is Axel. Can you say hi, Axel?
Hi.
And this is Axel's Jeep Gladiator, and we're going to do some fun projects to this today. What are we going to do? You want to show them what we're going to do?
Yeah.
What are these?
Big monster truck tires.
We're going to put monster truck tires on the Gladiator. So we got these Injora monster truck tires. Got these on Amazon. I think they were, I don't even remember, they were like 25 bucks, something like that, if that. So great buy. These are cool. They come on these deep dish wheels. They come already mounted. You don't have to put the tires on. They are ready to bolt on and go. So we're going to put the monster truck tires on. Axel also wants rear wheel steering, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to make this a full-blown monster truck with rear steering as well as the monster truck tires. So why don't we take a closer look at the tires and the steering system that we're going to do, and we'll dive into it. All right, so here's our tires here that we're working with. So I said these things are massive. You look at them compared to the mud terrain tires, which are pretty big tires on here already. The monster truck tires are just huge. They're probably half an inch taller and 3 times as wide, I'm guessing. These things are going to be monstrous on here. It's going to be super cool. Thankfully, the Gladiator already has the fenders cut. It's got the shocks already positioned for the clearance. So these things should bolt right up and be no problem, I hope. They've got quite the offset on them, the huge negative offset on these wheels. So I'm thinking they should fit pretty well on this thing. It's pretty much ready to go for these tires. For the rear steering, so since I did the Bronco build, I had a spare empty front housing lying around. So we're going to do the rear steering on it as well. So I've got to rob the V1 electronics off of our deadbolt, and then we're going to put all that in here. So we've got to take the V2 electronics out of our Gladiator here and swap in the V1s at the same time that we do the rear steer. So I'll try to document this a little more. I know a lot of folks were kind of curious about the install and how the rear steering went. So I'll try to do some more installation footage on this in this episode. But for starters, why don't we put these tires on and see how it looks? So here's our Jeep with the monster truck tires on. What do you think, buddy?
Awesome.
Is it awesome?
Yeah,
Looks great, doesn't it? And they fit so good.
Yeah.
I'm super impressed. Are you impressed?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks great, actually. I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
So I think the rear steering is really going to complement this and give it like the Monster Jam look and feel. It's going to be really neat.
Yeah, I want it to look like like my queen monster truck. Way bigger.
The Gravedigger.
Yeah.
And this will be one you can actually drive.
Yeah.
And drive over stuff.
Yeah. I don't even need to use your hand to drive it.
So for the rear steering, like I said, we've got this empty housing from the Bronco. I had another housing too that I had broke a bolt off in the shock mount. So I need to take the components out of that kind of messed up housing and put them in the Bronco housing. So that's what we're going to do for the rear steer. So this is going to be the project right now. I'm going to get these gears transferred over, and then we'll start doing the swap for the rear steering. So I'm going to work on this off camera, and then we'll come back when I'm ready to start putting the rear steer together. Rear wheel steer, part 1. Okay, so first thing we got to do is assemble our complete housing here. So this is a complete front end that I built basically from scratch. Like I said, I had the empty housing from the Bronco. I put it all together. I'm going to use a stock servo because I don't think he's going to be using it enough or putting a lot of stress on it. So I think the stock servo should be fine. So I got the stock servo tray. It's all mounted up, ready to go. So we should be ready to make the swap here. Right off the bat, I noticed one hiccup is that My son's Gladiator has the plus 5mm axles from Hot Racing here with the patty weights. So these are not extended axles in the front of this stock housing. So I'm going to have to make use of some extra hex extensions that I had lying around. And hopefully that gets us to the same width as the front. So we'll see. That's the plan anyways. So that's our workaround. So the first step, I'm going to disconnect the existing rear housing, and then I'm going to pop in the front housing here. So when I get to the point of mounting the front housing in the back, I'll switch the camera back on and we'll go over that together. So here we have our housing. Got the drive shaft in. It's ready to go. The only piece that you need off of your previous rear housing is the drive shaft here. So I pop that off of this. The cap that goes on here where you mounted your linkage before, you don't need that. So you can kind of set that aside. So when we mount this up, we're going to mount our linkage. Get these out of the way. To the outside of the servo mount here. So it's going to, let's see, right on the outside here. This is where you're going to attach the linkage. So let's do this now. All right, now that's pretty much the most different, the most challenging part right there. So then the rest of the linkage just mounts up to your traditional points, shock mount up to the shock mounting points there. So the rest of this is really simple. It's just getting those kind of those back links there situated. Right, there it is. So that should be our housing right there, ready to go. So now I'm going to put the hex extensions on, throw the wheels on, and we'll see how this thing looks. Here we are. There's the rear steer setup, ready to go. So it's going to be tight. I might have to take those rock sliders off. Getting a lot of interference there right off the bat. Might have to trim those or just take them off completely. Yeah, it's going to get into those big time. So I'll probably take those off proactively because that's going to be a mess. But pretty cool looking, right? It's on there, pretty much ready to go. Next step, we're going to swap the electronics out with our deadbolt because we need the V1 electronics to make this work. So I'm going to take these rock sliders off. Or I wonder if I could, maybe I'll just trim them short there. And then either way, I'm going to do something with the rock sliders, and then I'm going to switch over the electronics, and then we'll give this thing a whirl. We'll fire it up and see how it works. All right, here's our two rigs here. So I've got the deadbolt. It's a shame I did the deadbolt. Just did the modification to relocate everything, but it's all good. So I'm not super heartbroken. I'm putting the V2 electronics on the deadbolt because I actually think they're smoother and easier to use. So that's fine. So I took the ESC out of the deadbolt. See, it's empty here, ready to go. This is the unit right here. So it has the double-sided tape on it because I kind of stick this in between the frame rails for a kind of a low center of gravity setup. We're going to try to do the same thing here. So I already unbolted the battery tray and take that out of the Gladiator. I'm going to try to snug this ESC right in here. Hopefully the tape is still sticky enough. Looks like it is. All right, make sure we got clearance when we're fully squatted. I think we're good. I like to angle that down a little bit more. Make sure we got all the room. I think that's good. This one has the bigger motor in it, so it's got a little less clearance in here, but that's fine. So now we're just going to pop the ESC off the front, the V2 here. We're going to put this in the deadbolt. All right, it's easy enough. So that's it. I will do this to the deadbolt later. So now this becomes our battery tray. That's where we put the front mounted battery here. We need to somehow run our servo back here, which shouldn't be an issue because the Eco Powers, like what's on here, come with an adapter to run to the ESC. So we should be good. The only thing I'm a little concerned about is if I've got one for the back here. Let's see if this is going to reach. No way that's going to reach. I think I've got an extra extension cable lying around though. But this is going to be our setup, okay? So we've got the ESC is in the back. The battery is going to go in the front. I just need to get some extension cables, and then we're going to plug everything in here. And then we should be able to be good to go to turn it on and run it. Moment of truth. Here we are. So here's the setup. So I had to turn the ESC the opposite direction from what it was in the deadbolt because I didn't have the reach from the battery. But now we're good. And it's sunk in there, decent amount. So you can see it stuck it down in the frame rails. Battery sits on there really nice. I trimmed the rock sliders, so we should have good clearance. So everything looks tight. Now let's fire it up and see how this goes. Oh, I heard it jump. We got steering in the front. Now again, so we plugged the rear steer goes in the auxiliary plug in there. So you're steering and then auxiliary. So then when you do this, the channel 3 switch should operate the rear steer. Oh yeah. There it is. Let's button it up here. Oh yeah. Oh, that's so cool. Here it is. Pretty cool, I gotta say. Little man was pumped. He's been asking for four-wheel steer for so long. Since I did it on the deadbolt, he's been after it. Now this thing is so cool. Monster Truck Gladiator. I never thought it would look this good, and I thought it would be this cool, but it certainly does seem to pull it off in a weird way. Had to trim the body pretty significantly. You know, we were still getting some clearance issues, especially in the back. So we did quite a bit of cutting. So she's trimmed quite a bit. Still got plenty of room. Also, the stock servo in the back gave up the ghost in about 3 minutes. It was not having it with these big tires. Just not. Wasn't even budging. So I had an extra Eco Power lying around. So it's got Eco Powers front and back. Seems to fit really good in the back. No clearance issues. And yeah, much, much stronger. So this seems to work really well. Wonder what it can do for flex here. Let me check. There's 5. About 6. I'd say 6 is about the limit. It's, the tires are just so big that it can grab onto quite a bit with these things. It's just so cool looking. These things are awesome. Nice. That's awesome. Wicked cool. What a fun project. So I'm about to throw it on the course and just see what it can do, just playing around. So I want to get a little bit of run footage with this thing as it sits and have some fun with it.
It's awesome. It's awesome. It's a real life monster truck now.
It is, isn't it?
It's cool.
Yeah.
How I use it.
There you have it. Monster truck tires on the Gladiator. Full-blown monster truck, four-wheel steer and everything. Pretty fun little project. Definitely hurt performance though, gotta say. These tires are just so outrageous. They don't grab super well on the course. We definitely sacrificed uphill ability with the rear steer and these tires and everything. But, you know, it's fun. You know, my son loves it. He adores it. He's so pumped. And it was a fun project to do with him, get him involved. And, you know, he's been asking for the four-wheel steering for so long. And monster trucks, he loves monster trucks, as do I. So just a fun father-son project in this one. And pretty cool outcome. I got to say, the Gladiator looks pretty sweet with these things on here. So it's a lot of fun, if anything, just to look at and play with. So definitely not a serious mod by any means, but man, the boy loved it. So makes it all worth it. Let me know your thoughts down below. What do you think of the monster truck tires? So that's going to wrap it up for the video. I hope you enjoyed this one. A little different video in this one. Just happy to bring my little guy Axel along with me in the video. So I hope you enjoyed it. Hope it was a fun one. Maybe you'll learn something from doing the four-wheel steer in a little more detail in this video. But for the most part, this was just for fun. And I think it was exactly that. This thing is totally outrageous and will be a ton of fun driving around and just watching it go and running over stuff. So fun little project. As always, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't done so. Stay tuned and we'll see you in the next video.
This is like the one cake club.